Hello, hello, everyone. I'm Michelle. This is my friend Heather.
Hello.
Heather is going to be reading the questions today that you also kindly sent in. So we have over 30 questions. We're going to get to as many as possible. The reason I have Heather here to read the questions is because this way I haven't seen them yet, and I'm really just going to be channeling your answers from spirit. So if you're on, say hi, let us know you are here, and we are going to get started. This will be posted, so you'll get to watch it back.
Okay, we're super excited.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to go in order of the questions we received in our emails, and we'll just kind of work our way from there.
Okay.
So this one is from Elaine, and she said, "Just moments before I saw your email, you came to mind to seek out for direction. Thank you for this offering. I feel so confused as to why I am here in this earthly realm. If there is direction, I'm missing it."
Oh, okay. Elaine, thank you for your question. Here's the thing. We all have multiple life purposes, right? So let me just kind of connect in with your guides. But one of the things that they're showing me for you right now is that they're showing me three different paths coming up. So you have multiple crossroads coming up. They're all good, but the choice is for you to take the option. They're telling me to say that sometimes we get stuck in fear, right? It's easier to not choose than to choose. So sometimes our purpose is just to have a happy day, to connect with a friend, to go to lunch, to go for a walk. Other times our days are expecting and wanting and needing more from us. So your guides are saying to you right now, be very gentle with yourself. They're telling me also to say you have clarity coming up in the next 3 weeks. So please just give yourself that time. Also, when we're thinking about purpose, we always think it has to be something huge and big. And throughout our life, there are many, many small purposes that matter, that count, that turn into things that really are helping other people. So give yourself a little bit more time. Purpose is a big thing for everyone. And what I love to talk about with that is our soul plan. So for anyone who has followed me for a while, what you'll find out is our souls actually chose to come here and we came with a plan. I got to meet Heather like 14 years ago.
Yes.
That was a good soul plan on my part. That was a good one. So anyway, with that being said, our boys grew up together. This is how we know each other. We were neighbors. But anyway, with that being said, when we tap into our soul plan, and I have this course for sale on my website, so you can go there. It's already pre-recorded. What we start to find out is why we chose the challenges that we chose in this lifetime. And a lot of us have chosen some really big ones, some really hard ones. I don't know any human that is here because it's easy. But what I will say to you is when we realize that we had free will to come here as a soul, what we're always remembering is that our souls are whole and powerful, and we're able to overcome challenges and move into our purpose, which is an ever changing, beautiful spectrum of this life. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. All right. Our next question is from Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Will humankind ever evolve with the ability to see beyond the veil?
I love that, Eric. Thank you for your question. Will humankind ever evolve, right? Yes, we're already doing it. So there are a lot of mediums, there are a lot of psychics, there are a lot of remote viewers, there are people that are able to see beyond the veil. The way that this happens for a lot of people is in our dreams. We have connections with loved ones. But yeah, that's where we're working at. So this is the gift of our soul, and every human here has the soul. Your soul is already able to see beyond the veil and connect with your loved ones. So yes, we are a work in progress. Don't give up on that.
I just have a little follow up with that.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to connect more with those beyond the veil, and you're not having those experiences in your dreams or whatever, what can you do now to try and have those experiences or to connect more?
Right. That is a great question. So when you're wanting to connect with your loved ones, we need to think about, first of all, doing it from a place of joy, which is really hard when we're missing them. Usually we're asking for signs when we're in despair and we're wanting to feel them around us. What I will tell you is look for the times that you are happy, look for the times that your heart's lighter, look for those times, and then really sit down and start to visualize your loved one in front of you. Because what we're doing then is we're bringing their energy in. They're only an energetic thought away, right? So when we're thinking about them or talking to them, it's like a ping, here they come. When we're doing this, then sit back, relax, and ask them to let you feel their love again. So we're always sending out this, I miss you, I love you, where are you, right? And often we forget to receive. So Eric, sit back, relax, let your beautiful wife come in and shower you with her love. The seeing beyond the veil is coming. Very often, though, it's not going to be with our eyes. Our human eyes are limited. We can see a lot more when we let ourselves see with our soul.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And you had one more. How will we know when it's our time to go, to die?
Okay. Well, how will we know? Well, okay, let me just say this. I am definitely not a medium who ever gets death dates. There's too much going on, right, in this world, and our soul has options and opportunities. In my second near death experience, when I had the traumatic surgery that did not go
Yes.
right, what happened was I realized that we have multiple levels that we are able to stay or go on. So the first one is, can the body even sustain life? If we are in a massive car accident or a traumatic situation and the body can't sustain life, it's a no-brainer. You're going home, right? The second level is our soul plan. If we can sustain life, will our soul plan be complete, or will someone come in to help us? So if I hadn't have survived my surgery, who would have raised my 3 kids? Would Heather have taken them?
I would have.
Oh. Anyway, with that being said, that's the third level. Or no, that's the second. The third level is, it's literally between you and God. It's between you and source. So when we're getting closer, it's very often that people know. When we talk about hospice stages or anything along those lines, very often people will say, I feel my loved ones in the room. They'll start talking to the loved ones in spirit because heaven's coming closer to us. But we don't usually know in our daily normal life when we're healthy and feeling great. Eric, here's the biggest thing about that, though. This life in the span of eternity is really short, even if you make it to 100 years. So don't waste it, because you're never going to get this timeline as who you are again. So enjoy it and make the most of it. We're all going to be gone soon enough.
Thank you. Okay, this question is from Katrina.
Mhm.
It's a little bit long. She says, I had emergency brain surgery March of last year, caused by a tumor. There was a complication that caused bleeding, so the biopsy of said tumor failed. I believe I stayed alive for my 2-year-old son. It has been a year and I am okay. I go for scans and there is no growth, and the procedure to install a drain was successful. The medical team believed it's too dangerous to biopsy again, and it is not possible to remove anything based on its location. They will not comment on anything else because they are scared to tell me the wrong thing. My question is, can I let go of this experience and trust that I am healed, live a normal lifespan like anyone else?
Well, that's a big question. Okay, first of all, I am going to be sending you healing energy. I want you to call your angels in and ask for guidance on this part of your journey. Here's what I will tell you. I've asked Spirit many, many times about miracles. How do miracles happen? How come some people get miracles and other people don't? Right? It doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair. And what Spirit said to me is that miracles are actually about us getting in alignment. They're not something just held out for a few random people. So we really want to talk about body, mind, and spirit alignment. And when I say that, it's not the act of surrender. That's part of alignment. But with surrender, there always comes some resistance, right? If you're surrendering in a warrior, you're surrendering to a situation. So this is actually moving beyond that into, once we get into complete acceptance, then we're allowed to channel in this healing energy. So what I will say to you is, I feel really good what I'm getting from your angels. Lots of thumbs up. So I need you to go ahead and own and claim that that part of your story has finished, so that you can go ahead and live your life in the way that you want to. You have 2 choices to make here. We have 2 choices. Fear or love, fear or love. And you're going to choose to live life from a place of love. And I feel you moving forward so strong. So sending you so much heartfelt love.
I feel like we could do a whole episode on miracles and like what those entail, and kind of like the unwinding behind like the worthiness that goes with miracles, that people feel like, if I'm not worthy, I won't have these miracles, but it's not attached to that at all, or have good things that happen to me.
Right.
There's a lot of different things that go on with
it. There's so much. Yeah. It's a miracle is what Spirit calls a happening, because it's really about being in alignment. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be repenting. We don't have to be begging. We don't have to be any of those things, but it's really about owning the power of your soul. So what you're doing is you're saying, I am this beautiful soul, loved by source, God, creator, whatever your higher word is for the divine, and you're moving into acceptance. I am with an open heart receiving your love. The two miracles that I've had in my life. So one was when I had a healing for my taste and smell after my head injury. And the other one was in Egypt with Sekhmet. And so here's what I will tell you. The two miracles that I received, and they truly were miracles. They were physical healings. And the second one was an emotional, mental healing. I mean, my heart, like I felt the grief leave my heart. I was literally just in acceptance and receiving mode. I wasn't looking to even receive a miracle. It was just purely that innocence that you have of like, I'm here to receive. So let yourself receive. Everyone, no matter where you are in your life, your angels, your life guides, your loved ones in spirit, they are begging you to open your heart, open your mind, and just receive the healing that's available to you. You're worthy because you're here on planet Earth. That's all it takes to be worthy of receiving.
Yeah, receiving, and then the acceptance, right? The
Yeah.
acceptance of whatever that might look like. Because so many times we have an idea of like, this is what I need, or this is what I need to have happen. But part of that, like acceptance that you're talking about, and the surrender of just being open to whatever is going to happen, and the trust, which can be a really difficult piece.
Oh,
You want to control.
right. Yeah. I want to control. I want answers. Here's one more thing though that I want to add to that. When you come somewhere with an open heart, and whether you've had physical, emotional, mental, spiritual trauma, whatever type of trauma you've had, but you show up with an open heart and you say, this was part of my story, but it's not my whole story. It's not who I am. What you've just done is you've left the universe this beautiful opportunity to help you heal in a million different ways, because we haven't closed the door. So often as humans, we think it has to be option A or B or maybe C. And the universe says, yeah, but I've got a gazillion ways to help you heal.
Yeah, being open to any and all possibilities. Exactly. It's like when I was pregnant with Lincoln, and the doctors told me that there was no way that he was going to be a baby, like it wasn't a viable pregnancy. There was no way. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have this baby. And I ended up birthing a completely healthy baby boy and being open to all possibilities. So like, it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Okay, here we go. This is from RJC. He just has a couple questions. How does time pass in heaven?
Oh, I love that. That's a great question. And that's a little bit hard to answer if you haven't been there and come back. But luckily, I've been there a few times, so I can tell you about this. Think of it as when you are doing something that is your very, very favorite thing to do, and you really are like, oh my gosh, it's been an hour. It felt like it's just been 5 minutes. So it's not that there's completely no time there. It's just that it doesn't work the way our time does. So I often think about when we lose a loved one in spirit, or even when we're coming in to play human and have this incarnation, it's probably 100 years about the span of 5 minutes in heaven. And so very often I think about like when we have a loved one in spirit, it's not about saying goodbye to them or I'll see you in 50 years. It's more about saying I'll see you in 5 minutes, because that's about the amount of time 100 years would be in the scope of eternity.
So they don't even have time to miss us.
Yeah, they don't miss us. I'm so glad you said that. You guys, your loved ones in spirit are not missing you, because they are right here, right now, connected to you. And they're actually easier to access because they don't have to sleep. They don't have to eat. They don't have to answer the phone. The energy connection is right here, right now.
I love that. And so he also wanted to know, like, do they have jobs? We are told they spend time watching over us through our day, but if they have jobs, how can they do it?
Yeah, I love that. Another great question. This is so fun. This is so fun. All right. Anyway. Okay. Yes, they do. They do have jobs, but when I say jobs, it's not like, hey, I got to get up. I got to go to work. It's more about learning and an ever evolving soul, right? So they're learning about different, whatever things they're interested in. If it's art, if it's traveling, if it's so many ways to help their loved ones, like they're being educated on how to even help you to get your next job or help you to find your next life partner or whatever these things are. So as a soul, as a human, Michelle, I'm stuck in one place at one time, right here, Phoenix, Arizona right now. But as a soul, we can be in more than one place at a time. So think about when we're on Zoom, or if I'm doing a gallery reading on Zoom, I will have maybe 50 people from around the world on the same Zoom screen. We're all at the same place at the same time, right? But it's almost like I'm in 50 places. As a soul, you kind of have that energy. You can be in more than one place at a time. You can be with everyone in your family and still growing, learning, and evolving.
That sounds nice. They can get a lot done.
Right.
And this is another question from Nicole, and it kind of piggybacks onto that one. But she asked, what do they do all day? Do they have parties? Are they just sitting around in a library researching?
Right.
How they spend their time, even though time doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know you touched on that briefly, but
Yeah.
maybe just expand a little bit
Oh,
more.
I love that. So let's think about this not from the human perspective, but more from the spiritual perspective. Our souls always want to evolve, period. That's it. Our souls are always looking for growth, experience, and evolution. So in that heavenly realm, they can be in multiple places at one time. They can be in different dimensions, in different universes, in different courses. They can learn healing modalities. They can be planning their next incarnation. They can be doing their life review. So let's talk about life review for a minute. Very often people think that a life review is the minute that you transition, you have to go through and see everything. That's not true. There's not a one size fits all life review. Some people or some souls are not ready for that as soon as they get to the heavenly realm. So it's presented to them in little pieces over what we consider time versus all in once. So classes, courses, learning, loving, connection. By the way, when you get to heaven, everyone's your friend. There are no strangers in heaven. You have a lot of people to party with if that's what you want to do.
Lots of stuff going on.
Lots of stuff.
Okay, this question is from Keith. His question is, why do some people's pre-birth or soul plans fall apart after they incarnate? Or put another way, why do some people become habitual criminals instead of seeing at least part of their pre-birth spiritual goals realized?
Right. Well, that is a loaded question.
That's a lot going on.
But thank you. We're gonna go ahead and try to pick that apart. So, number one, who's to say that their soul plan wasn't to come here as a criminal? So planet Earth is based on contrast. This is why our souls leave the heavenly realm, because in heaven, everything's perfect and it's harder to learn. So what does that mean when we need contrast? We need the black and the white. Right. We need the good and the bad. We need the happy times and the sad times. That is part of our earthly experience. So I wouldn't say that his soul contract is necessarily wrong or his soul plan is wrong. But what happens, and I've asked Spirit about this, so this is my whole course again, go check it out for your soul plan. What happens is 60 to 70% of our soul plan is kind of done. It's the blueprint. It is created. So think about the structure of your house. The structure is what it is. You can knock down a wall. You can add paint. You can move furniture. You could add a window. You could add a skylight, right? 30 to 40% of our life is free will. So what will happen is we are very often inside the structure, and then we get to make choices within it. Now, obviously, I'm not encouraging anyone to be a criminal. So let's just say that, right? But I'm always holding space for people to step into the light and be more productive in society. But part of his soul plan might be that in this lifetime, he's here to learn what it's like when you don't choose the light, when you don't choose to become a different person.
So when you said like habitual, like, but we don't know if they are habitual criminals, correct? Like, did they keep coming back as criminals, or do you think we experience all things like you and I have been criminals at one point?
Oh, you've totally been a criminal.
You know? I'm just kidding. Like, will we experience all things? Like, have our souls done well? Have we been the criminal? Have we been, that's those horrible things, the bad ruler,
Absolutely. So that is part of the contrast. Most likely every soul on this planet has played every role at some time. When we are talking about souls too, brand new souls, newer souls, they don't incarnate into planet Earth. It's too hard here. You have to already have a good level of experience to be able to sign up to play this game because of the challenges. Okay. So what will happen? That means to me that there aren't any brand new little baby souls here. And because of that, we have all probably played all roles.
So where do the baby souls start out?
Baby souls.
Where do they start out?
Okay. Then? Well, they're not even like baby souls. So
the new ones.
Yeah. Here's what I will tell you. I believe God, source divine, literally speaks our soul into creation. And so at whatever moment that happens, right, throughout eternity, There are much more gentle realms, dimensions, planets to go to.
Okay.
So there are places a lot of times like Avatar, for people who saw Avatar, right?
I loved that.
Yeah,
I
like
loved it.
everybody wants to go there,
Right.
but we get to start out with something much more gentle, and the evolution and schooling of our soul is still happening in that heavenly realm as well as the incarnations.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. This is from Nat. This is a loaded question also.
Okay.
How do I help support a mother going through the grief of the loss of a son by suicide?
Yeah. Okay. So first thing that I would like to say about that, if you know somebody who has a child who's transitioned by suicide, I love the group Helping Parents Heal. There are multiple groups out there, but it's one of my favorites, and I've seen so many parents make progress with that group. So have them check out the website, the YouTube. They have conferences, they have mediums on there. It's a great group. Okay, the number one thing I know, and for those of you who aren't familiar with my story, my loved one passed by suicide a year and a half ago. Heather was actually the first person at my house when that happened. What I will say about this is that, first of all, we need to know, and we need to make it a well-known fact, that no matter how you get to the other side, you are met with love and compassion. So I think this is really important for this mom to know, that her son was greeted with love, compassion, and understanding. Most likely, I'm feeling two things in his energy. I'm feeling some addiction and I'm feeling depression. So I think those were both factors that played in. The other thing I want to say is, I've been doing readings for years. I have never had spirit come in who has transitioned by suicide and said, I was in my right mind when I did that. They weren't. There's something going on that creates that. So with the mom, couple of things. HPH, Helping Parents Heal, best resource I know for parents. The other thing is, it's really about her understanding that her connection and her love with her beautiful son is eternal. That has not ended. That continues on. It looks different. So we're learning a new language on how to connect with our loved ones. We're learning a sign language. We're learning telepathic communication. The other thing that I will just say from my personal experience is, I didn't need anyone to show up with an answer that was going to try to make me feel better. I just needed people to listen, or maybe not even listen, maybe just a hug. So those are the best things that you can do. Just show up. No one's ever going to have the right thing to say in that situation that can diminish the pain. So it's not about saying anything. It's more about your presence and the resources you can bring. Thanks for caring enough about your friend to submit that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know a lot of that from personal experience, and you've worked with so many people that have lost family members to suicide.
And like what Heather would do for me, some days it'd just be a text. Is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah.
What do you need from me? Right. So it wasn't that you had some magic answer or anything. I mean,
wish I did. I wish I could have, like, there's just times that I get it, like the supporter, you just want to take that pain from them and you want to make it all better. But knowing, like, I think the biggest thing too is just sitting with someone in the pain. And I remember we would just sit there and just cry, and it was just being there and feeling that pain together. And that's all that really you can do, because there are no answers.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but just being with that person and supporting them and showing up.
Yeah.
And that's really like what you can do in those times.
It really is. Yeah. All right. Thank you. And thank you.
Oh, it was an honor, really.
Oh,
it really was.
Let's not do that again.
No, we don't want to do that again. We've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Want to like happier things.
Yes.
This question. So Susan has a couple questions, and so we'll go through some of these, and then we'll touch on some of her other ones next week.
Okay.
Are our soul's plans able to be changed?
Yes, actually, yes, you can add on to your soul plan and you can change it. So not the blueprint part. All right. The blueprint part is what it's going to be, but yeah, you can absolutely change and add on. So what I have a friend that I did, I kind of dove into our soul agreement, and I found out that she was an add-on. Heather and I, we were in it before we got in it, but you know,
we were stuck a long time ago.
So yeah, you can change them. Okay. The way that this needs to happen, if you're really looking to change or add something, you've got to go to your higher self, right? People say higher self, essence, soul, whatever that is. The change doesn't happen on the human part. I can't rewrite my contract as a human, but on a soul level, what I can do is I can really go up to myself. And when I say go up, I talk about meditation, prayer. I don't want you to be in a place of begging. I just want you to be in a place again of alignment and openness. And that's really where we talk to the universe and we say, okay, universe, I'm ready to bring in the love of my life. Okay, universe, I'm ready to find my forever home, whatever that is. But what we're doing is we're kind of adding that into our contract. So yes, they can be add-ons and changed as you go.
Okay. And then so kind of a follow-up to that one is, in how do we know which aspects can be changed?
Mm-hmm.
Which ones can?
Yeah. So a lot of the things we know, you can't change your parents. If you're already here, that was set in stone. You came in the way you came in, right? But what I would tell you is that when we're talking about connections with humans, those very often can be changed. And even if it's somebody that you're having a challenging relationship with, if we go on a soul to soul level to talk to that person and we say, hey, I just need us to be able to get along. It would be so much more productive for the family or whatever this is. So yeah, you can change them. I'd have to dive into the individual soul plan to let you know. So but yes, changeable.
Awesome. And then what is the difference between angels and guides?
Okay.
How can you tell the difference?
I know, that's a good question. So your life guides are with you when you are planning your incarnation to planet Earth. So they are the ones who are sitting there saying, Heather, that's a big ask, but we'll let you take that one. And then they'll say no and yes. And so they're actually assigned to you before your lifetime. Same with your angel, right? You choose your angel, you choose your guides, but they play different roles. So the guides really want us to stay on track for our plan, our purpose, the lessons we want to learn. The angels really come in with more of a protection, coddling, loving energy.
So then my question too would then be, you said those are there before we come to this earth, but then what about like our loved ones that pass while we're here? Do they become our angels? Do we have a whole team of angels? Do they become our guides?
Right. So they'll step onto your spirit team and become part of it. So everybody has a spirit team. We have angels, loved ones, life guides supporting us.
Okay.
If they've been in body, they're not really becoming your guide because your guides have been your guide before you came in. Same with your angels, but they're absolutely helping you in every way they can.
Okay. Very cool. And then how do we connect with our guides?
Yeah.
How do we connect with them?
Meditation, questions, start playing with your guides. We really make this challenging, but we want to be like, hey, send me a sign or ask for their help. By the way, the question about how do we connect with our guides, I have a course that begins April 16th, a 4-week course about connecting with your spirit guides. It'll be live on Zoom. So it's fun. You get to ask your questions. If you're watching this right now, there is a 20% off coupon if you put in Spirit Guides with an S, all capital, one word, Spirit Guides 25. I'll add it in the comments. You'll get a 20% off discount.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. And then we're just going to follow. This will be our last question for the day. And then we have a lot more questions that have come in. So stay tuned next week and we'll just kind of keep working through these questions.
Yeah.
Get them all answered. This one's from Carol. She said, I'm struggling with knowing how to raise myself up when my aging body keeps me from walking in nature, which has always been how I lifted myself up. My son in spirit told me I had to find a way to raise myself up.
Yeah, that is a challenge. That's definitely a challenge. And your son is going to tell you that. You guys, our loved ones in spirit are cheering us on, right? The last thing they want is for us to give up and shut the blinds and shut the door. They want us to keep going. They want us to find a way. So I would say a couple of things that your guides are showing me. You can start small. Number one, get a big screen TV and put the nature channel on that and just give yourself the visual and the energy of the scenery or the backgrounds, or YouTube, right? YouTube has those, right? Where you can get the scenery and the visual and the energy that you're wanting. It's basically getting transmitted to you. For me, I always sleep with ocean waves every night because it just like soothes my soul. So that's what my sound machine is, right? Start finding ways that you can create nature within your house. Maybe you go buy some fake plants, some real plants, pot some flowers, go sit outside in the sunshine. The other thing is honor the fact that your body always wants to heal. I don't care how old you are. And so, as long as you leave the opening that this is not your story, that you're going to heal, you're going to make progress, the universe will keep bringing you those opportunities. So bring the nature into you. When I can't go to the beach here in Phoenix, Arizona, I've got pictures of the ocean in my living room. I've got whale tails. I've got my ocean sound machine. I bring it to me.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that puts us at
That was
questions for today.
I know. Oh my gosh. So we probably have about 30 more questions. And this is what we're going to do. Every Monday, we're going to go ahead and do these. Some weeks we are both traveling, or she's traveling, or I'm traveling. So on those weeks, what we're going to do, we're going to answer your questions, and then we will preload it so that it will come out still at the same time. And you guys are going to get your answers for these things that are on your heart. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. It was fun. Questions, I'll put the link for you to send in questions underneath here. And I hope you have a beautiful week ahead. I really enjoy being able to connect with you like this and help spirit help you navigate your life.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Oh, thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
Is it off? Do we do it? What if we're still on?
In stream.
Oh, I
See,
think you already ended it.
I need my glasses.
I think you already.
It's still going live. This is what happens when you've never done a live.
And now I can see that we don't know what we're doing. Or soon we'll stop.
Oh, that's the fun part.